We back kicking it live at the headquarters, and for this episode, we will officially be starting the POLYGEL nail series. Now, if you have been checking in here at the headquarters, then you know that I did originally upload a POLYGEL prep tutorial. But since then, I did delete that one because I went missing for like 3 weeks and I was just like, the girls need me. So I'm restarting the series. This is episode 1. And yeah, we're back. I apologize for my absence, but I love you all. And just as I did with the acrylic nail series, if you haven't checked that out already, I will be uploading each piece segment for segment. And it will be broken down like prep, application, filing, and designing. So if you haven't already, be sure to go ahead and like, comment, and majorly subscribe so you don't miss when I post. And also be sure to follow me on all other platforms. Now, moving along. First things first, this prep would be the prep that I personally use. I am not saying it works. I'm not saying it's the best, but we're just going to go step for step by the prep that I use. I'm going to treat this practice hand like a live human hand so that you get the logistics of everything. First things first, as you can see for the prep, we went in and pushed the cuticles back. We have freed the cuticles from the nail plate. Now we're just going to pretend that her cuticles aren't too overgrown in order to be cut. So the only thing I did there was take my cuticle pusher and push the cuticles back. Now, as for removing natural nail shine, I will be personally using a 120 sanding band. And I will also be using this AirC e-file, which can be found linked to my Amazon storefront. The link for that is in the description. I do just want to say that this e-file does not contain any kind of number system. It just has a little notch on it where you can kind of contain your speed with that. But if you're looking for an RPM, I cannot at this time give you one because this e-file does not have one. Now I am going to go in and kind of just clip at these nails. I want to cut them a bit shorter than they already are. So yeah. Now moving on. As for using the e-file and removing the natural nail shine, you really just want to, as I always say, keep that e-file moving. And I am going in right here just making a few quick passes. And as you can see, I rotated that thing like 4 or 5 times and the e-file has removed the natural nail shine in just a few quick passes. Now, since the e-file is constantly moving, you want to keep it rotating. I kind of go in this like circular oval situation just to ensure that I have that thing moving at all times to avoid heat spikes, rings of fire, all of that. And I'm being mindful, as you can see, to keep my fingers on the sides of the nails, sort of like guards, so that way I'm not cutting too close to that live skin, or in nail terms, the eponychium, or that I'm not causing any discomfort to the client. Yes, a 120 can be deemed as too harsh for the nails, so at your headquarters, please use whatever you would like. I'm just personally using my 120, but you maybe want to try to go for a 180, a 240, but hey, that's just me. As you can see, we still have that shiny part at the top, and we're just treating that as the cuticle area. And as you can see, it is undisturbed. We safely remove the natural nail shine without disturbing any of the surrounding areas. So that's good. Moving on to applying the tips. Now with this practice hand, I have a lot of trouble trying to get these nail tips to stick. So I do go between the brush on glue and my KDS glue, which is like that tube glue. The brush on glue that I am using for this is from Dollar Tree. So like if the tube glue is not working, I use the brush on glue. The brush on glue don't work, I try my tube glue. It just depends. So I know somebody somewhere is going to be like, how do you get the nails to stick? If the tube glue doesn't work, try your brush on glue. Brush on glue don't work, try your tube glue. That's the only recommendation that I can give. As you can see, I did go in first with the brush on glue and the tip did stick, so that's good. Now I'm going in right here applying this tip with my tube glue, and I did put too much glue on there, but it ended up sticking anyway, so I was like, okay, thank you for not giving me any trouble. As for the tips, I will be doing different shapes. So I went in and applied the stiletto nail first. And for the ring and the middle finger, I will be applying 2 square nail tips. One of them I'm going to turn into a lipstick shape, and the other we're going to keep as a square. Now in the acrylic nail series, I think I did square, stiletto, duck, and almond. And the shaping for polygel and acrylic is the same. The only thing that's really kind of different is the application process and the prep. In my personal opinion, those are the only 2 that differ. But other than that, you can still shape nails the same way. That prep and that application is the only thing that's different. Now, as y'all can see, the stiletto nail did already come pre-shaped, but I didn't want it that long, so I did have to go in and cut it. And I had to use scissors to adjust it. Please be careful when you're using scissors not to cut your client's skin underneath the nail. So make sure you're eyeballing it and paying attention to how you're cutting. and your angles. But for all the rest of the nails, except for the lipstick shape, I am going in using my tip cutter. The only two that seriously needed scissors was stiletto and lipstick. My tip cutter is not made for duct tip nails, but I do squeeze that duct tip in there because I'm like, I don't feel like using scissors for this. So yeah, that's that. And sometimes it be a struggle because I'm like, them duct tips be really wide, but it is what it is. All the nails are clipped and cut, and now they are ready for shaping. And also, somebody said don't pre-shape your tips. And I'm just like, who wants to work overtime when it's time to file? No one. Please pre-shape the tips. Save yourself the headache and the time. Now, not only am I going to be using my e-file, I will be going in using my hand file, which is a bit more controlled than the e-file. And I'm going to be using this coarse/medium file, which is 100 by 180 grit. Any file that is 100 by 180, I love it. I cannot do the 80/80 files. Those are too harsh for me. Like, that is just, it would just be too harsh for me. So I try to go with that coarse and that medium file. Just my personal opinion. I know some people say that 120 that you use is harsh, but that 80/80, oh, that's real bad. Like, that's bad. But again, just my personal opinion. Now, hand filing, and I think I said this before, is a lot more controlled than the e-file usage is. I did cut this tip pretty crooked, but it is seriously nothing that a file can't fix. So as you can see, I have my fingers in place, and I'm just going to go side to side and just even it out until it's like shaped to the middle. Now, I can go ahead and tell you, looking at this, it's so much worse on the right side than the left. The nail is swagging more to the left than it is to the middle. So I'm just going to go in on both sides and kind of like even it out. Because shaping a stiletto, it's really a triangle, but I want all angles of the triangle to be even, like through and through. And I need it to be even to the edge. So as you can see, I'm going in on the 180 side of the file, which is the medium side, and I'm just lightly just shaping it up. And in no time, it's straightened out. With a hand file, you can do more pausing. Like, you can pause with the e-file, but when you using the e-file, it kind of goes quick. So if you're really not paying attention to what you're doing, it could just be like bad all over. Now, I am going in with the e-file and I'm just lightly cleaning it up, but most of the work came from me using the hand file. And when filing, you really have got to eyeball the situation. You don't want to do too much, but you want to make sure you're hitting all the right spots. So when filing, I would stop and look side to side and be like, okay, I need to do a little bit on that side, a little bit more on this side, until it comes to an even angle. And after hand filing and e-filing, this stiletto nail looks great. It looks great. It's perfect. Now, I'm still going in, hitting it with the file because I don't like that little underneath, like them little underneath straighted pieces. So I'm just trying to remove those. But other than that, it looks good. And also, you don't have to file the entire tip. I just do that. I do just go in and like blend the tip with the natural nail. But filing the entire tip, that is not mandatory. That is not necessary. I just do that. You don't have to do that. But other than that, yeah, that looks good. Moving on. Now, to the square tip, it's already pre-shaped. I'm just going in, I'm going to blend it lightly with the natural nail, and then I'm just going to do the sides just a little bit. But other than that, it's already pre-shaped. So with the square tip nail, there's really nothing major to do because it's already in the shape and form. I'm just going in with a little razzle dazzle, nothing major. And I'm just lightly cleaning up the sides, lightly blending that tip with that natural nail. And again, filing the entire tip is not mandatory. I just tend to do that here at the headquarters. But yeah, just like that. That is quick, easy, and yeah, it's ready for application. Now, I'm extra. And again, this part is not mandatory. I am going to go in and add a C-curve to my square tip. I don't know. I just really like that C-curve look. Like the duck nails and the square tip, I have got to add a C-curve at the end. It's a must. It just gives it more of a sharper tone, like a sharper look to it. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, that's just what I choose to do. You don't got to do that. You know, it's ready without adding the C-curve. But me, I just got to be extra. These particular tips that I am using right here can be found on my Amazon storefront. The link again is in the description. These are the extra long tips. I just cut them down to about a medium long. But it all works the same, so if you're interested, head over and shop my Amazon storefront. Link again is in the description. Now, moving on to the lipstick nail. This is not a shape that I do often, really at all here at the headquarters. I have not had a chance to do this on anyone. No one has requested it. And I think I've only done one set, and that was on myself, of lipstick nails. But just because no one has requested it does not mean that I don't know how to execute. Now you can cut your lipstick shape however. It can go to the right or it can go to the left, however you choose. In this case, it is cut from right to left, and that's fine. We're just gonna file in that direction. Went in, lightly blended that tip to that natural nail, and I'm going down to that free edge, and I'm just going to take my hand file and I'm just going to go downward to get that slanted look correct. Very simple, very easy. I'm just lightly going in. I'm holding the tip in place because we don't have any product on the nail, so you don't want the tip just bending and it's already flimsy. So I'm being sure to hold like the meeting point where the nail is meeting at the natural nail, and I'm just holding it and filing that free edge. Very simple, very easy, right to the point, moving on. Last but not least, we have the duck nail, and it too is already pre-shaped. I am just going in with a few small passes, and I'm just blending that tip with that natural nail, filing the entire tip. Again, not mandatory. I'm just choosing to do it, and easy. It's already done. That's it. This particular tip can be found linked to my Amazon storefront, and I can go ahead and tell you, if you are not really into that wide look, because the duck tips that I have on the Amazon storefront are really kind of wide, then I would not recommend those tips to you. If you're kind of more like, I want duck nails, but I don't want them that wide, I want them kind of slender, or if you don't mind like slenderizing them, if that makes sense, if that's even a word, then yeah. But the ones on the Amazon storefront are wide, but if you're looking for like that slender look, like the duck nail, but you want it kind of skinny just a little bit, I would not recommend these. Going around here, I'm doing the C curve look. Again, not mandatory, but I just like it. I think it really outlines the shape of the duck nail. And I hate dull nails. I really like nails to look sharp, and yeah, I think me adding that C curve really sharpens the nail. Just my personal opinion. And I know somebody somewhere is probably thinking like, okay, that's it? Like, that's it? Yes, because none of this stuff is hard. This prep situation, not hard. Filing, not hard. None of this stuff is hard. People make things hard, and that's the problem. So after we prep the tips, prep the natural nail, I am going to go in right here with this 70% alcohol and my nail brush. And the 70% alcohol is just going to act as a natural dehydrator. And yes, it is safe to use. And I'm just going to go in with this lovely hand brush, and I'm just going to clean and free the nail of any dust and any leftover debris. Immediately after that, I'm going to go in and I'm going to use either one of these primers. Now, the white bottle is from my local nail supply, and the No Lift nail primer is from Amazon. And that's my go-to. I mainly only use No Lift nail primer, but for this episode, I think I'm gonna roll with the nail primer from my local nail supply, which again is in that white bottle. You can choose to use any primer that you would like. I'm just showcasing what I use. So as you can see, the nails are dehydrated. After using that alcohol, I'm just going in. I'm just gonna lightly prime. You don't have to prime the entire tip. I would only prime where that artificial tip and the natural nail meets. That is the only place that I would prime. But to each his own. And don't just quickly run that brush over that nail. Make sure that nail has really gotten all that it needs. You don't want to half do the job, because that priming situation and that dehydrating situation will play a major part in your retention. So yeah, make sure you're doing it all the way. Don't cut no corners. The nails are primed, the nails are dehydrated. And I know somebody's going to say, well, what's the difference between polygel prep and acrylic nail prep? This main step right here. Now, with acrylic nails, you probably would have been done after you applied the primer. You would have been ready to put that acrylic on. But with it being polygel, you have got to do that base coat first. Base coat is recommended when you're doing polygel because, of course, gel bonds to gel. So that base gel is really going to help you and is really going to act as a bonding mechanism for the product. So yes, we are going to go in right after using the liquid primer. And we're going to apply this base gel, foundation gel, or gel primer, as some may call it. All of it is the same. There is no difference in any of those terms. In this case, I am using the Beetles foundation gel or base gel or gel primer again. And this time we are going to prime the entire nail from the cuticle to the free edge. You're going to prime that entire nail. Now, I don't have problems with my polygel separating from the tip, but if you're having any issues with that, maybe it's because that whole tip needs to be primed. Like the natural nail, all of that has to be primed all the way down to the free edge. So if you're having issues, try that and see if that works. But yes, we're going to go in right here and we're just going to put that on the nails. Now, I'm going to say this, and I know somebody's going to be like, well, duh, of course that makes sense. But a lot of people don't know this. After you have applied that gel primer, you have got to cure that. It must be cured. Me personally, I'm probably going to cure it for about 120 seconds using my LED lamp. But yes, if it has gel in it anywhere, it needs to be cured. Gel polish, builder gel, model gel, foundation gel, however, it needs to be cured if it is gel. If it's a gel-like glue, it needs to be cured. Rhinestone glue, the sculpting gel, all of that is gel and it has to be cured. Uncured gel can lead to things like skin irritation, allergic reactions, and the biggest thing is contact dermatitis. You don't want that. That is hell sent. Not heaven sent, hell sent. And it gets bad. So make sure you are curing that gel all the way, 2-3 times if you have to. But yeah. Cousins, here is the entire finished product for the Polygel Shape and Prep segment. I hope that somehow, some way, this has helped somebody along the way. Again, if you've already watched the first one that was deleted, that's great. But here it is again, ready for you to use. Kind of the same stuff, I just redid it. Now, for the next segment, we will be going over to application. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Make sure you leave a like for this video and comment. And turn on my post notifications so you don't miss a thing when I post. I love you all, and I thank y'all for tuning in.